I like night walkers.
I like night walkers too. But thanks for watching us today. We will be doing session 4, entitled Soul of the Sword of the Deceiver Tools. This week we have a couple of issues. So Murph will be missing today. I will be DMPCing Murph's character Davos. And we are also still missing Chris, who will be replaced in time. Once we have a core party and a little bit more functionality, we are shifting to a weekly schedule now, so keep up with that. Apologies for the missing people, but we should have band of people more readily available on Sundays and in short order. Nonsense aside, last time on the Deceiver's Tools, the group bravely went into the Ruby Palace to search for specific artifacts of the Osirian people and recover them from the conglomerate and return them to the Old Guard, a group of rebels who are attempting to recover artifacts and items from their culture that are being taken by the conglomerate and sold piecemeal outside of the nation to the highest bidders. That said, the group has just successfully completed that portion of it and have made their way back to the headquarters of the Old Guard. Once you arrive back there, Davos very quickly kind of maneuvers with the crown, having acquired it from whoever had it, and takes it up to go and give it to the Lord. It doesn't look like he is engaging any of you to kind of come with him. Looks like he is kind of set on his task by himself. And once he operationally leaves, you three are left with the other 4 members of the group. That would be the human woman with crossbow, the dwarf, the dragonborn, and the other human.
I'm gonna grab the bag of books and the Butcher's Bride and follow Davos. And Kelder kind of like looks at Vi, and she's got the sword, so he kind of looks at her for a moment like he's thinking about what to do about that, and he's just like, he knows how these weapons work, so he just like leaves it with her and takes the books and the Butcher's Bride and follows Davos.
He kind of gets ahead of you, and you see him enter into the Lord's chamber, and standing outside is the elf from before, the guard that was actually at the tunnel before but has now been repositioned. And as you kind of approach, he places his hand out to you, kind of gesturing for you to stop. Davos kind of looks at you and says, kind of puts his hand up, gives you like a, one of these, like one moment, and then shuts the door, closing him and the Lord off from you. The elf kind of looks to you and says, I believe this conversation is to be made in private. I apologize, Master Kelder.
Kelder shrugs and just like, sets his stuff down and waits.
Okay. The other 2, you guys are back in the main chamber there, and standing around with your friends and such. Kolgar, Greysword, kind of moves over to an individual kind of standing at what appears to be a bar, and basically gets himself a beverage poured. The human woman kind of sets out at a table and starts breaking apart her crossbow, kind of just breaking it down to its component parts, and putting it into a small case. The 2 shield associates remain with Vi.
You 3, Lois says, looking at Vi and her companions. You travelled with the orator. How much do you reckon his freedom's worth, now that the Old Guard's got what they wanted?
I don't feel compelled to answer that question.
Iji kind of leans into Vi and says, Milady, our task was to make sure that you arrived at the Ludosian embassy safely. And of course this detour has definitely changed our mindset as to the necessity of that task. I feel inclined to return back to the association and make sure that they are aware of our current status. Borgu kind of looks at Ichi and kind of gives him a like a snuff, and then looks to you. Lady Fi, I'll stay with you. E.g., if you want to return back to the association, that's fine, but I feel her cause is good, and our task is to protect those who need protection. I'll remain here with you, my lady. And Eiji says, don't get me wrong, I understand the cause more now after seeing what we've seen, especially after seeing what I saw in the tower. But I feel that if the association is not made aware of what I know, then, well, they may send out others, perhaps swords, to see if they can't find Lady Fi, as she is somewhat of import from the lands of Talania. Borgu says, yep, I understand. No problem, Iji. And Iji kind of nods his head. They clasp hands, and Borgu looks to Fi and says, my lady, may I stay with you, or do you wish to dismiss me?
I'd rather you stay here.
Of course. Gives you a kind of toothy dragonborn grin. And then Oris, basically, it would seem that, based on your statement, you also kind of think about, where is the orator? Like, he was brought here, but you haven't seen him since that day, or since that time that you brought him here, which is like a day or so ago. What would you like to do regarding that?
Also leave it for the moment and just grab Borgu and just be like, I'm going to show you where the ale's kept. Because it's the only thing that's really of value down here.
That's fair. I could do with a little bit of spirits. Fair enough. He goes with you. And the back up at the room, Kelder, the door opens up and Davos walks out, no longer holding the crown. He gives you a look, a very stern, serious look, and he says, we don't really have much time to sit around and do nothing. Looks like we're needed elsewhere. If you wish to remain with me.
Of course, but I did wish to deliver these items to the Lord personally.
The Lord kind of looks beyond the door, kind of looking out to you, and says, sure. I will take the butcher's bride back. Bring it in.
So I bring in the bride and I bring in the bag of books. I say I did not know what else we would find in there, so I grabbed what I could. These appear to just be historical textbooks enchanted with some sort of preservation magic, but
of course,
you're welcome to have them. As
a note, the individual known as Copperhead has been seen scurrying around the old guard's establishment. I believe he wishes to recover the bride, so we are keeping an eye on him as he keeps his eyes on us. You kind of see him kind of look over to the side, and when you do so, you look over as well, and you see the orator is sitting there in a chair, kind of like slumped down. At the floor, there's like a pool of blood, and it looks like his arms are basically shackled or tied behind his back.
Is he unconscious?
He appears to be unconscious, like slumped over, and you presume the blood is coming from his face, dripping down onto the floor.
Okay, so Keller looks at him, and then he glances back at the Lord, and he says, is he alive?
For now. But it would seem that we do not require him for the ransom that we initially intended. You have a mission on your hands. I'll be returning the orator once he's ready to make his own way out about in the city. You do have other matters to attend to if you wish to remain with us and remain with Davos as your captain.
Understood. Keller, leaves the books and the bride with him and leaves.
Okay. The door closes behind you as the Lord gets up to do so. Based on what you're looking at, though, it looks like there was some form of interrogation that was enacted upon him, but you've seen much stronger techniques than just punching and breaking a person, and you're pretty sure the Orator is also familiar with those techniques. It might have been conditioned to resist normal torture methods. That said, you head back downstairs. Davos enters into the room, looks over to Oris, looks to Lady Fi, walks over to Fi and says, "Are you remaining with us for now?" Could definitely use a good priest where we're going. Apparently our next mission, Oris, is to go into the graveyards south outside the wall. There's a shrine to an old pelagic arbiter named Cyrus Bray, and within that shrine it's said to be more artifacts of import. The information was gleaned from the Orator, so I believe we can go and acquire what's down there. He seems a bit kind of perturbed. Kelder, you kind of enter into the room, see Davos kind of talking to the others and telling them what's up.
All this hearing about the job, we'll just go, then I'm going to need another blade, and he's just going to walk off to try and find a great sword or something similar.
Okay.
Scale.
You very quickly find a great axe, if that's sufficient.
Yeah, that'll be sufficient.
Okay. Yeah, just transfer it down into your character sheet. No problem. And as you do so, you see Borgu kind of look over you and give you kind of, yeah, like a look like, that's what's up. Because as you recall, he wields one as well. Alright. Davos says, the shrine is in an old, not so readily kept graveyard to the south of the city, just outside of the city gates.
I'm sorry, what's the objective?
There's a shrine to an old pelagic arbiter. The arbiter was known as Cyrus Bray, and it's been told to us by the Orator that beneath that shrine is a crypt, and within that crypt are some more artifacts of import to the Guard.
Where did we get this information?
From the Orator. The Lord said that he gained this information from the Orator. And again, you can kind of tell that Davos is kind of, you know, there's something off. Like he seems to be kind of just, yeah. Out of character note, for Murph, if you watch this, basically your character is conflicted with the torture of the Orator. I presume it's not something based on your character's description that he would be okay with.
Yeah, he seems more like a manipulator.
Yes, yes. And not so much pain as the device for acquiring information.
Now, does this seem like information that can be, like this crypt he's mentioned, do I know anything of it? Do I know that would be something he would use as like maybe a trap?
History check, but no, it doesn't come off as a trap in your mind from that mentality. No, it doesn't sound like immediately that'd be it. But what'd you get on your history check?
Oh.
Put you in your drawer, bad cat. 3 cats on screen. Oh my goodness.
3 cats?
Well, right now in the stream, Davos and Copperhead's spaces are set with cats.
Nayland?
Yeah.
Kitty City.
It's the picture of Nayland sitting on Lara's head.
I tried to get the 4th cat, but he's being a dickhead.
Also,
You did.
Hold on a second. I think Kate is actually watching an old video and she's not watching this one.
Oh, tell her. I sent her the link to just your thingy. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, anywho, so yeah, what'd you get on your history check?
21.
Okay. You would know that Cyrus Bray, during the very early portions of the Civil War, some 500 years ago, was one of the last kind of remaining true pelagic arbiters. He had a son of the same name, and they were kind of a bit more focused in the religion than the laws. So basically, their concept of the law was very much guided by the religion. That said, they the last one to remain here, the last member of the Bray family to remain here, was Cyrus, and the rest of the family, particularly his son Cyrus and his other son Afrigrad, traveled south to the lands of Parnac. So kind of a reverse of what Horus did.
Would I know any history of... Would the name Cyrus Bray mean something to me being Parnan?
Yeah, you can make a history check. It's going to be a little bit difficult, though, because in Parnac, they're not as important.
And I was probably barely paying attention to his own history, let alone...
Well, yeah, for sure. But, like, in Osiria, the name Bray basically kind of, for people from Liberus and the southwestern, or southeastern kingdom, it's a bit more of like it'd be like in America we know the name Bush and we've seen it a lot in our politics, whereas in England, if there's a person with the last name of Bush, it's not going to be like, the only thing you're going to do is relate it to the people from a different land. You're not going to go, there's someone of import in my country who has the name Bush.
Yeah.
So that said, she's in the right video now. Anyway, yeah, it's an important family, but the only information you've heard about it would be information from this country. That said, no, it's not a trap, Chad, and they're very focused on the religious aspects of the law, not so much the governmental aspects of the law. It's all about the adherence to the religion in their minds. Davos basically is speaking to the others and telling them to make ready, oh my god, cat. Yeah, what are you guys are doing? Well, he tells you to basically get ready.
Oh, I hear a kitty.
What are you doing?
I'm all ready. I dropped a couple pictures for you in the private, like the side chat.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, I already have the token ready. But thank you. I just basically repurposed the token that you had from before in the Dig Room game. Anywho, back to the point. Davos basically is telling you all to get ready. We're going to be going to that place. Is that what you do?
I wasted all rage, and other than that, I'm set already.
So you would basically gather up your things and head from the old guard's hideout and head south by foot. As you can see on the map, the Shrine to Bray has already been kind of designated as a marker there. As you approach it, you can see that there are old tombstones kind of off the beaten path that look like they've been kind of broken, left to age, sundered by, just probably vandals or people who are uncaring of the past. Some remain intact. There are a couple of crypts that are kind of placed throughout. But the most noticeable thing that you see in the lot of it all is standing kind of over top all of it, some 30 or 40 feet, is a very large form that appears to be kind of a statue of a man in plate armor with a long sword placed point down on the ground. And as soon as my computer starts working and this cat stops rolling around on my keyboard, I will show you a picture of that. 1 second here. Mittens! Cat! Just rolling around.
Wants loving.
She does want attention. Last week it was nailing. Boop, boop, boop.
What time would it be as we're walking through this graveyard?
Probably about. I would assume that you would have. In all honesty, last session it was evening time. I would assume that you guys would have gotten a long rest in between. And I forgot to kind of mention that. You would have came in, rested, woke up the next morning, and then engaged. Is that all right?
That's fine. I get my rage back.
Yeah. Just making sure. So locations, Shrine of Bray. So that's basically what it looks like.
That's a pretty big statue.
It's pretty big, about 30 or 40 feet high, full-plated armored individual, yeah.
Does anyone else have the desire to try and push it over?
Borgu kind of looks to you and kind of nods. Yeah, a bit. Davos kind of shakes his head at the two of you. The orator did not tell us the secret of how to access this crypt beneath the statue. I'll do my best to help you, but I was hoping that your eyes, kind of looks to Kelder, and yours as well, looking to Lady Vi, would help in this.
Kelder holds up a finger and says, "One moment," and then he starts casting Detect Magic as a ritual.
Okay. 10 minutes later, Kelder's eyes kind of shine for just a moment, and you start to see in the magical spectrum auras and the like. Other than kind of a primal essence of magic generating from the trees and the magical items kind of present, the sword glowing, there doesn't appear to be any sense of magic present.
Speaking of the sword, has she attuned to it yet?
Yeah, I believe she would have by this point, yeah.
Okay, so do we need to identify it to figure out what it...
She knows what it does.
Okay.
Whilst he was doing that, could I ritual cast Speak with Animals, and then once it's done, try and...
There aren't any animals around.
Yeah, damn. There goes my plan. See if anyone's seen people going.
That's actually... go ahead and make a nature check real quick. That's a good question. So, you would notice that there aren't any animals present. You don't know why that's the case, but you would notice that. That is something you would kind of key into.
Anyone else notice that we've not seen a bird, a mouse, anything really but us? Anyone else find that extremely weird?
I mean, as far as what Kelder understands of magic, this probably isn't, like, the fact that it repels animals probably isn't that unusual.
Yeah, it's also, you are in effectively a graveyard as well, so, yeah, there are still kind of bits and broken tombstone. I mean, the like grave marker, not the pizza, and all sorts of different other articles that kind of identify this as being that. But as you approach the statue, the low portion of it, the dais that the statue actually stands atop, is some 7 or 8 feet tall. It looks like wind and time has caused the facade to kind of become flat and kind of brittle. So if you run your hand across the smooth portion of it, stone residue kind of comes off of it. And it looks like there might have been something etched into the facade here on this flat stone portion, but it has since long since dissipated.
I have an idea to see if there's an opening.
Okay. What's your idea?
Oris has just got a nice new great axe, hasn't he?
Borger kind of looks to you. I like your style.
Yeah. Take out the great axe and go swing it at the base, see if it smashes through.
Alright. You hit stone with axe. Just make an attack roll. Let me know what you rolled.
23.
23, you hit, and put a pretty decent, cleft in it. You hit it at a perfect angle so the axe doesn't shatter or splinter off the shaft of the weapon. But other than being a nice clean cut into brittle stone, nothing else happens.
Can I use prestidigitation to sort of clean up the writing? Or if we had mending, could we use mending to kind of restore it?
I would say no. You would be aware that it wouldn't work because of the age involved and the amount of parts that have been broken off here. Basically, the windswept nature of this plain area here. Not so much today. It's not really windy today, but you assume over 500 years, it would definitely, be a lot of residual that's gone into the winds.
All right, then Kelder's just going to start searching the base using his magic eyes and, his normal eyes and just start looking for secret doors.
Stephanie, did you have any ideas as to what Phi would be doing at this time as well?
I was going to survey as well. I don't know.
Oh, you froze? I think she froze out. You there? Did anybody else? Did she cut out for anybody else?
Yeah, she cut off. My Discord just crashed a little bit ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if...
Yes.
Shoot. You guys hear me?
Yes, now we can. For some reason, your screen froze out and you stopped talking. But you said that you were going to look around, and then that's when it started to cut out.
I wasn't sure if there was any other places to look, other than more like at the base, but I can kind of double up with Calder and kind of look with him.
But just to make sure, your mentality is maybe there's someone somewhere away from the shrine, like close by, that might be a bit more something that you might want to check for. You're thinking outside the box, right? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is that because you mentioned that? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't sure if there would be anywhere to look, but I guess I can look at that hypothetical other place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good thought. So, Kelder, go ahead and make an intelligence investigation check. And then Phi, go ahead and make a wisdom perception check. So, perception.
The sword that the statue's holding, does it look like it's grafted to the hands that's holding it? Or is there like a hollow gap?
It looks like it's one solid piece of stone that's been cleft down, and then because of the windswept nature, any details that were on it have been since removed. Kelder, you spend a good 30 minutes kind of just wandering around the dais there, the base of the statue, looking around with your magic eyes, recasting your spell once in between, and looking around. It doesn't seem that anything present here is going to work. But Phi, as you kind of walk around, you do notice that there is just one tombstone that seems to be kind of still intact. And when you walk over to it, you realize that the tombstone is probably about 2 feet thick. And it is connected as one single slab to what appears to be like a 5-foot covering to wherever that burial place is. So basically, it's kind of an L-shaped block of stone. As you kind of look at it, you notice that it's a solid piece that's sitting on top of the ground.
We try pushing it, moving it.
Borga says, "What? You need something pushed?" And Or says, "No me, no me."
Yeah, Oris and Fargo are just shoving each other, just like, no, I want to do it.
You can go ahead and make an athletics check, and you have advantage because you're being assisted by Borgu. Let me know what you got there, Lewis. So remember the advantage. What'd you get?
14.
The two of you heave and you huff and you push and you keep on trying, struggling to push this thing. And you notice that it does budge a bit, and it'll gives you a little bit of a look at to what's beneath. And from what you can tell, Fi, as you kind of look down at what it is, it appears that it is an opening, probably about the width of the platform above it, and it appears from just kind of what you can tell, it looks like there might be a staircase within.
Entrance.
All right. Do you keep shoving, heaving, and hoeing, taking your time of it?
Yeah.
About a half an hour.
Temptation to rage and just try again.
About a half an
Waste
hour
of
or so of the two kind of like working together, pulling, dragging, and shoving. They manage to push the slab of tombstone aside, and a Legend of Zelda noise of finding a secret area dings at this moment, and you see that there is a staircase that descends down. It looks like it descends down in the direction of the statue. Just let me know what you do.
Tall humans first, or is he gonna just take a running leap down a few of the stairs?
Kolgar and Celia look to Davos, and they say, "We'll post up out here and make sure no one follows you." And he nods his head. You see Celia kind of start climbing up one of the trees near the statue, and kind of post up at a position there, and pull out, not the big crossbow that she had before, but a crossbow nonetheless, decent sized one. And kind of just posts up, taking watch. And Kolgar kind of walks over to the tombstone that's been shifted aside, plops down, sitting on it in the L shape of it, and just kind of starts munching on a ration.
Does anybody need assistance to see in the dark?
I am just human boy.
Keller hands him a torch.
I can see in the dark.
Yeah. It's Davos, Fi, and Kelder should be able to see in the dark just fine. Borgu and Oris do not. So it is a 5-foot wide passageway here. Marching order, I presume, would be Oris, then Borgu, and then Fi, and then Kelder, and then Davos, right?
I'd suggest having Borgu at the back, or at the front, Borgu at the back, just because then if someone gets me from the front, Oris is in the way. If someone comes from the back, Borgu's in the way.
That's not a bad way to do it. So we'll do like Oris, Kilder, Fi, Davos, Borgu.
So Fi in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Protect the healer.
Protect your clerics, people.
I'm squishy.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that Kelder is a bit more forward-focused bladesman, because I'm always thinking wizards should be either in the middle, most protected, or to the back.
But he's I took a lot of combat spells. He's tougher than most.
Yeah, you're different. All right, and then Oris, you are holding a torch in one hand and a great axe in the other. Is that right?
If I'm able to.
So yeah, I would say so. You can also, because your shield is on your back, if you want, you can fasten the torch to set there on your back, but you'd have to be very careful. Or you can drop the torch whenever you swing with the axe. Your call.
Oris does not own a shield.
You don't own a shield.
No.
I drew you with a shield.
Yeah. No, Oris doesn't own a shield. Oris will grab a shield from the base next time he's there, then.
I thought you were battle axe. I thought you were battle axe and shield when I drew you. All right. Well, that's a failing on my part. All right. Or hammer and shield. Anyways, bad DM is bad. So you guys descend down. The passageway goes down for some time, and basically, when you feel like you've walked basically the same distance it took you to walk over to the tombstone from the shrine, the stair stops and becomes a landing, and then it looks like another stair continues down as a spiral staircase descending down. Just based on positioning, you presume that this is directly underneath the statue above.
So we're pretty deep underneath it.
You descended down about 40 feet, then walked across a landing, and now there's another staircase that continues to descend into a spiral staircase, tunnel down.
The other reason you should always send the barbarian first is I've got danger sense, so I'm going to go down this one.
Man, I really should have taken Featherfall.
Yeah. You can actually see the bottom, though, with the dark vision. It looks like it only descends another 40 or so feet. I'm going to go ahead and shift you guys to the battle map. Let me know if your vision has changed.
I see nothing.
I see stuff.
Yep, I see it.
Okay. So, you said you see nothing?
I see it now. I had to zoom out.
Oh, okay. It's off to the right, yeah. And then I just centered you on the location where it's at, so that might be helpful. Okay, so as mentioned, it looks like the stair descends down to kind of a flat bottom portion of the descent, and then it looks like there's a small hallway that gestures off to the side. The stonework here is very just generic, human, just blocks upon blocks that have been kind of set up underneath the earth. And it looks like the passageway slants off to the left. Yeah.
Also begin wandering down, but you'll try and keep an eye out for any traps as he goes down.
Okay. What's that?
Sorry, my computer had a pop-up.
Oh, okay. All right. So you move around, and it looks like it actually circles around the exterior. The stone ground, it looks like there is a bit of growth. It's kind of it looks like it almost looks like a grass that's kind of growing up out of the stone and kind of growing out onto the stone as well. It does look like a kind of grass, and as you kind of look at it, it looks like it's the same kind of grass that was up on the up above, but it's growing down here as well. To be sure, a strange thing without sunlight is what you're thinking.
I mean, does it look like bright green grass? Like just healthy grass?
Uh-huh.
Do I still have Detect Magic up?
Yeah, I'd say so. It doesn't glow.
Is there... That might mean that it's concealed from the outside, or...
Well, if you have nature trained as a skill, you can go ahead and attempt a nature check to try and identify what kind of grass this is. Certainly an option. Any takers on that?
No.
I can do it. I don't know how good it's going to be, but...
Give it a go. Click on nature and see what you get. Okay. So you... What'd you get?
I got 22.
That's a lot. So you actually think about it for a bit, and being a priestess of the grave, you're actually kind of, you think about it and you realize that what this kind of grass is known as crypt grass. And crypt grass doesn't actually gain its nutrients from normal sources. Typically, crypt grass will actually grow and become very abundant where there's a lot of death, and kind of links to the necrotic side of death, the afterworld known as the ethereal plane. It's basically something that bleeds over into the material world from the ethereal plane, this energy that fuels the grass. And so sunlight is not a prerequisite of its growth, but for all intents and purposes, it looks just like a field of grass, kind of grass would look, except that it's underground.
Okay.
All right. You move around the way there, Oris, correct? And move towards the center chamber?
Yeah.
Okay. As you kind of wind around the hallway and make your way out into the open there, you see that there are a number of diamond-shaped pillars, or square pillars offset against the parallel nature of the room. In the center of the room, there appears to be kind of a shadow of a symbol kind of etched into the ground from what you can see in your torchlight. But at the end of this symbol, and kind kind of standing in the center of the room is a statue very similar to the statue upstairs, with all of its details intact, being that it's not kept in the wind, standing on a small circular dais.
I'm gonna have a closer nosy, I think,
Okay.
at the statue. Just see the differences between this statue and trying with the one upstairs.
Okay. Just wander with your token around to it, and you should be able to see it kind of when you get to it. Head south. You see it? Should just be the dais there. Okay. As you kind of approach it and kind of start looking to it, the helm, which kind of is open like the one upstairs, starts to glow kind of a bright red within. And you notice immediately that this is not stone, this is made of metal. The sword that it has placed down, just like the statue upstairs, it pulls off of the ground and looks to you with its bright red, just energy face. And it starts to lift off of the dais, floating a couple of inches off of the dais.
Oh,
I
this will
cast
be
false life
interesting.
on myself.
What's that? What did you say?
Kelder casts false life on himself.
Okay. Since you're basically witnessing this thing come to life, and you didn't mention it before then, I'm going to not allow you to do that yet. If you want to do it during the initiative order, you can. So, speaking of initiative, that's what we're doing. We're rolling initiative. Please select your token, and then click on your character sheet and click on initiative. This is the first fight where you're not fighting the members of your party.
Always is laughing his ass off looking at this statue like his birthday's come. Because it's like, this is the best thing Oris could ever see.
And as a matter of just keeping up with current, if you are the wizard, you can go ahead and make a free Arcana check. Just let me
I rolled
know.
a 20.
Okay. The creature that you're looking at is known as a type of construct known as a helmed horror. You would know that when they're created, they're traditionally given resistances to magic and specific spells, which you do not know offhand, depending on how this one was created, would determine that. It's basically a flying suit of full plate armor with a sword.
Excellent. I relay that information to the rest of the party. I say, damn, they have a helmed horror down here.
Alright.
Those are the ones that, like, magic ain't good with, right?
Hilarious. Alright, and then... Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of micromanaging here. So bear with me here. And then what did you say, Oris? I apologize.
Also, just turn to Kelden and just be like, those are the ones that aren't good with magic, right?
More or less.
Good thing I don't use magic then. You two are fucked. Those are all his exact words.
He says as he's spiraling the axe moving forward.
I have a
Yeah.
I have a sensor. I'll bash it in the face. Kelder, your initiative is first. Let me make sure. Oh, Borguk got put on there twice. Oh, I see what I did. Davos is on 3, not Borguk. Hold on. I forgot to select his token when I clicked his initiative.
going to be a token for this horned horror, helm horror.
Yeah, it's on the map. You can't currently see it because of positioning.
Okay.
Alright, initiative order is fixed. 23 is the highest, so Davos, you're up.
I'm going to use my action to cast false life on myself at 2nd level.
Roll it. just again, remember to announce what you got because people watching at home can't see the dash.
I rolled 11,
Okay.
and then I'm going to use my bonus action to start my blade song.
Okay. Oris, what you witness is Kelder kind of like starts chanting words, kind of pulls out a little bit of just some kind of liquid, starts rubbing it on his fingers, kind of places it to his face, and as he does so, you see his body kind of swell up a bit, kind of pulsing with a bit of energy, almost like he bulked up for the fight. And then after he does so, he pulls the sword out and starts kind of spinning it, moving it about in his blade song. We've seen him do that before, the blade song portion.
Yeah, last time it was aimed at me.
Yeah, now it's aimed against the not good. So, Oris, you're up. It's floating just like a couple inches off of the dais there. It's directly in front of you.
Or is he going to chuckle, drop the torch, bonus action rage, and run and attack the thing?
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Wait, hold on. Again, micromanaging. Apologies. Hold on.
It's alright. I'm hoping the torch does leave some light for Oris to see from as he leaves it on the ground. Otherwise I have a rough idea whatever it is. And I apologise for any of you that I hit in the process of
There you
running
go.
around in the... You're just going to run at it and then... whilst raging... take a great axe attack at it.
Sounds good.
22.
Nice.
22, you said?
Yep.
That'll work. Roll damage.
2 rage damage plus 6 slashing. There they go, smash it in the face.
Alright. As you bring the axe and kind of smash into it, like with the full strength of your rage, your brain is kind of forward seeing like what's going to happen. And you're like, it's just a standing stack of armor. Haha. You're imagining it just shattering to pieces underneath the might of your blow. But as it hits, it's like hitting against a statue like or against the stone like you did above. And it just glints off of the side of it. And you're like, what the... Because it doesn't even leave a dent. Or much of one.
You're gonna be fun to fight.
Alright.
Oris's grin has gotten even bigger.
It goes to it. As it's kind of holding the sword there and kind of looking to you, it spins the blade very quickly and then drops 2 attacks into it during the motion with 2 hands. Bear with me here. Looks like 21 to hit.
That hits.
And a 17.
That hits.
Take 10 slashing damage from the first one, so reduced to 5. And take 14 slashing damage from the second one, reduced to 7.
Help.
And then it kind of pulses with its energy, the red kind of like emanating out from it. You can actually see a bit better now that it's kind of glowing as it is. And you hear a voice kind of echo throughout the chamber. You are not a Bray. Flee this place.
You can talk then.
It doesn't seem to be cognizant of your response. It just seems to just generally be...
Oh, so it's a pre-programmed robot.
You don't know about that. Davos kind of moves out next to Kelder, out and around Lady Fi. Kind of looks over to Oris and says, "You got this, big guy." Gain inspiration, bardic inspiration, which you can use. And then he is going to cast Vicious Mockery on the target. Alright. And advantage on spell saving throws. All right. Despite it being resistant to this kind of spell, the horror kind of hears the statement that's stated as basically Davos says, "Is that what you call swinging a sword, or some kind of nonsense to make it like feel sad?" And it kind of takes on a saddened stance, like it genuinely was hurt by what Davos said about it.
So you listen to the tiny one, but you won't listen to me?
Davos says, "Mine's got magic behind it." Lady Fi.
I want to move. I think I need 60 feet in order to do healing words.
Yeah, so you can actually move to the group here if you
Okay.
wanted to, or you can try and move out this way in between these pillars here.
I'll go more behind them then. So.
Okay.
And can I heal Oris?
Yeah, as a bonus action, perfectly fine.
Okay. And do I need to roll for those or no?
Yeah, it should automatically roll when you click that spell, but see how it works.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not.
If you maybe select your spell list, that might work. I know that. Yeah. Roll.
That's where I am.
Oh, okay. And when you clicked it, it didn't do anything?
No.
Okay, so let's just go ahead with an easy mode method. Click on, you see the toolbar on the left side? There's like a D20, do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
If you click that, you should have the option to roll a D4. And then you'll roll that and add your wisdom modifier, which should be 4, I think? Yeah. So you'll have 5 hit points that heal back to Horus. And then that's a bonus action to do. So you still have your standard action. You can use that to cast another spell, but that spell would have to be a cantrip. It can't be anything higher than a cantrip.
Did you say I got 5 back?
Yes.
Woo!
What? Who's calling me?
So would any cantrip, or do they not count towards like his magic immunity or whatever?
You don't know. Basically, what Keldor kind of tried to explain quickly as the fight engaged is that whoever created this thing basically designated spells that it would be resistant to. So far, you've seen Vicious Mockery cast on it, and it got through. It seems to have a general kind of like light resistance to normal spells and an immunity to specific spells.
Oh, okay. Guess I'll go ahead and try Toll the Dead on him.
Okay. All right. So this creature is missing some of its hit points. So if it fails on its Wisdom saving throw, it will take 8, and then it has advantage on its saving throw, but fails. So you watch as kind of a necrotic energy kind of emanates on top of it, and you see a bell kind of clang, and it seems to kind of rock the suit of armor to the side. All right. Okay. And I apparently have Davos on here twice, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of his 3. I see what I did. So Borguk will... I don't know why it's showing up as Borguk on there, but he's going to rush out to a position beside Lady Fi and kind of take a defensive posture. Looks like he's ready to jump into anything if she gets attacked. Keldor.
Keldor's going to run in, attack action, draw my other weapon. That's going to be my rapier.
Okay.
Crit.
Hits. Okay.
8 piercing.
And real quick, for damage on critical hits for this game, if you are a heroic creature, your crit damage should be maximized. So it should actually be an 8. So 15, and then 15 halved will be, I mean, blah, 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 blah. -7.
Wah.
So as you stab into it and kind of thrust your rapier into the armor, you see it go right through and puncture the plate armor. And as you relinquish it from it, it doesn't seem to do as much as you anticipated. You basically stabbed it right in the heart. And that should have been a falling blow for a normal creature, but it seems it's resistant to normal damage. And then you have a second weapon?
Offhand with my short sword.
Go for it.
That was an 18.
Okay. Go ahead and damage it.
So that was 6 damage.
All right. Oh, because you don't have the bonus modifier. Gotcha. So then, yeah, you very quickly, like once pulling the rapier out, spin around with the short sword to kind of clang against its face. The short sword's blade just kind of glances across it, leaving like a small little scratch, but not much in the way of damage. All right, Oris.
Oris is gonna just whiffle round if he can so he's got flanking with Kelder,
Okay.
and then he's gonna smack it in the back of the head.
All right.
That's a 24.
Yeah, that'll work.
And then
go ahead.
18 damage total.
Okay. As it's faced off against Kelder, and they're kind of like positioning blades between each other, spinning gracefully, you kind of move around, taking your opportunity, and just drop the axe down on its shoulder. It causes the thing to buckle down and kind of turn its head 300 or 180 degrees, like so the helmet is now facing you, but the body is still facing against Kelder.
You paying attention to me now? Or is it massively insulted that it won't respond to him?
In reply, it says, "You are not a Bray. Flee this place immediately," and it will take both of its attacks against you.
I like to imagine it sounds like Liberty Prime.
Exactly like Liberty Prime, yes. Oh, well, did you attack recklessly or just normal, right?
Just normal.
Okay. Well, that was almost 2 crits. So 17 and a crit. So
Both hit.
with the 17, that'll be 12, so half will be 6. And with the crit, it'll be 26, and half will be 13. All right.
I ain't looking so hot anymore.
So what you watch is the head kind of spirals around to notice you. Then the body kind of flicks and spins like it's basically weightless and kind of almost like marionette-like. And the blade kind of whips around and kind of cuts into you, the first one, and you kind of catch it with the shoulder and then push off with the great axe. But in doing so, leaving yourself open, it spins the blade and juts it down right on the side of your head, kind of glancing against your ear, cutting into your shoulder, causing you to kind of back away a bit too. And it's now facing off against you, still floating just a few inches off of the dais. All right. Davos says, "You doing all right?"
No!
Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, never mind. I thought he had healing spells. He does not. All right. He will cast Vicious Mockery again. All right. Oh. No. It would have given it disadvantage. It was a 16 and a crit, so that still would have been fine. Its next attack was Vicious Mockery, and I almost forgot about it, but it didn't have any effect. It would have rolled out the same way. Okay. So the horror will wisdom saving throw against that succeeds. It seems to not care about the bard, and you can kind of tell that Davos is kind of saddened now. It's like the sadness of the helmed horror now switches to Davos going, "No, it didn't work."
I've not actually had a secret magic effect where it just upsets one person each round.
Fire up.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Toll the dead. All right. I will make a saving throw. Well, very, very lucky on this. So it'll take 7 points of necrotic damage. All right. Again, the bell just clangs in the other direction, kind of rocking the golem to the side again with its pulse of energy. All right. Borgu kind of looks to you, Fi, and says, "Do you want me to get in there?"
I'll nod him forward kind of motion to go.
Yeah, I feel like he was hoping you'd say yes.
Hold on, let me math. Yeah, he could have gotten there. Okay. So he rushes up next to Kelder as you two are focused in on him, just brings the axe down mightily, hits it, but it kind of just glances off of the pauldron and flies wild. It really does less than the short sword was doing. Just the most... it doesn't even matter to the thing. Doesn't even seem to care. It was a mighty swing, just not an accurate one. Kelder.
Same thing, rapier and short sword.
Okay.
Yeah. Roll a 1 on the rapier.
Roll 20-sided dice.
Has he not got advantage from flanking?
No, there's no flanking rolls. We don't do that here.
Oh.
Okay.
Got a 15.
So what you do notice is as the rapier comes in, it kind of gets caught by the sword, which you thought was over on the other side of the body, but it kind of maneuvers itself so that the sword is like reaching over its shoulder, and it kind of just flets the blade that way, so your rapier goes dancing aside. You feel it almost leave your hand, but then you kind of grip and tighten and spin it back into the song. Second attack with a short sword.
16.
As it's holding the blade up like that, it kind of turns itself a bit, and you catch armor instead of a piece in between armor. Okay. Horus.
What is it, an action or a bonus action to take a potion?
No. For us, it's hold on a second. Let me check and see if I made those the rules in this.
Yeah, that's what I need to check if it's a potion quaffing.
Yeah, we're not doing quick potion rules. So yeah, it's an action to quaff it.
Oops. Yeah, I'll wait a bit then. I'm just gonna smack it in the face. I'll wait until I'm a bit more.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Alright, and then max damage on a crit for you would be 12. So 12 plus 9 is 21, 23 points of damage. And then half would be... Okay. As you kind of just rebel against its grace and it's telling you to leave, you just bring the axe, like, kind of just smash it to the side, lift it back up, and bring it back down. You crumple the helmet, causing, like, a huge dent in it. And you can see, like, red light kind of pulsing out of it and the hole you've rented into the helm. And it kind of looks up at you, and it says in reply, "You are not a Bray.
No, I'm better."
Flee this place at once. It kind of crumpled down, it kind of lifts itself back up, and then brings the blade back in against Horus again.
I did forget. Thanks for that, Chad.
What did he forget?
That he had bardic inspiration.
He does indeed. The first attack comes in. Do me a favor, Lewis, roll a 20-sided dice for me. Okay. He brings the blade in, and you catch it with the axe and kind of hold it underneath the beard of the blade of your axe, and then it just pushes down with the sword across the shaft, and you can feel it enter into your shoulder just above the collarbone. Take 14, so half, 7 points of slashing damage. Yeah, as it cuts.
I'm not looking so hot, boys and girls.
Yeah. Davos kind of looks at the situation. And kind of, yeah, well, your mother, and it will fail, even with advantage. I can't believe this nonsense. All right, still standing. Fire up.
Go ahead and heal again.
Okay, healing word. Alright, 5 hit points again. And then Toll the Dead is your action. Okay. Nice. All right. So you see Fi kind of standing in the back with her sensor, kind of turn it to the side. See like a small pulse of just smoke waft from it. You see the bell appear above the helmed horror and clang to the side. As it does so, the armor just smashes apart with necrotic energy bursting against it from one side, and kind of just pieces of it, gauntlets, greaves, boots, and the sword clang off to the side. That's it. So, what do you guys do immediately after the conflict?
Also, gathering up the armor.
Yeah, I was gonna do my whole. I mean, do I still have the tech magic up?
No.
Okay, then yeah, I'll do it as a ritual again.
Okay. So we start casting.
Actually, before Ori starts gathering up the armor, he's going to pull out. What type of potions were they that I got last week?
Oh, potions of healing, standard.
Yeah, so that's 2d4 plus 4?
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2. I'm gonna take 2 of them now.
Alright, just puts two of them to his mouth and starts glug glug glugging.
Is that what you spent your chunk of the gold on?
No, I got him for free, because he's a cool kid in the guard.
Nice.
Lifted them.
They were for the whole party, but I kind of
Bogarted them.
Oh, sure, they were for everyone.
Yeah, well, he's the one who got him. He never told you guys about him, and he's drinking them over there, and you guys are like, oh, he's got healing potions. Cool.
My logic was this. My logic was very simple. I'm going to be at the front lines. I need the healing.
It's accurate.
You guys are all squishy.
Genuinely the only person who took damage during that fight. After about 10 minutes, I'm going to ask everybody else what they're doing. Davos is kind of looking at the marking on the ground and inspecting it, and kind of focused on that. Fi, you can see that there are pillars. These have markings on them. It looks like a name is kind of set in the pillars on each side, a different name per pillar side, but they don't appear very consequential. To the north, there are kind of set 15-foot wide alcoves, and in those alcoves there's bas-relief style carvings in the walls that appear to be playing out some sort of scene different in each one of the 3 alcoves. To the south, there are a total of 5 alcoves, which have just a single silhouette carved into it, each one of the silhouettes being slightly different. And on closer inspection, it looks like there's a geometric symbol in each of the silhouettes. There's an alcove to the southeast. There's an alcove to the southwest. There's a huge staircase with gears kind of set around it and in it. And there's something north of that stairwell as well. What would you like to do?
Can I examine the alcove with the geometric shapes?
Sure. So that's to the south there. So that would be these alcoves here, across the bottom. As you look at the silhouettes, they appear to be just unfinished carvings. But in the center of each of the silhouettes, you find... give me a second here. Total of 5 different shapes. Shape number 1 is a 6-sided kind of. My brain's. Why am I not doing it? Hexagon is 5-sided. Sextagon? I don't. I don't know what a 6-sided shape is. I'm dumb. That one. Then it's a square. Then it's a, it looks like it's carved to be more 3-dimensional, but it's a triangle set inside of a, it's basically, hold on a second here. Let me get the other 2. The one in the middle is basically all of the shapes combined. The one on the far side is a 5-sided, and then the one to the right of the middle is a triangle. So, again, let me try that again, this time without me being dumb. On the left side, it's a 5-sided shape. On the one just one in from that left side is a triangle. The one in the middle is all of the shapes basically stacked on top of each other. The one to the right of the middle is a square, and the one to the far right is a 6-sided shape.
Okay.
A hexagon is a 6-sided shape. I'm an idiot.
Okay. I was like, hex is 6. but
I don't know why I thought it was anything different.
I didn't want to call you out. Because maybe I was wrong.
Call me out all the time.
So, quick question, John.
Sure.
It's plate armor. Could Orvis put on enough, not the whole set, but enough to make it almost half plate?
So, as the rule is for me, in all essence, roll a d100 for plate armor. All right. So it doesn't fit you perfectly if you start to try and fashion half plate out of it. It does not fit perfectly. It's a little small. So that said, you can wear it, but if you wear it for too long, it can be exhausting because it's chafing. Very tight.
Okay,
You can get it refashioned by a blacksmith, which will cost you 1/4 the cost of the armor, and about 6 to 8 hours worth of time for them to reshape it so that it fits for you.
Because here's my logic. This is probably pretty cool. Decent looking armor.
Well, basically, if that's what you're doing during the 10 minutes, the ritual casting is basically trying to figure out the armor, see if it fits, and figuring that it doesn't. And Davos is inspecting the ground, and Phi is inspecting those 5 alcoves. 10 minutes kind of pass, Kelder's eyes kind of shine again, and he kind of starts looking around. The armor doesn't glow, the sword that he was wielding does.
What kind of sword is it? A great sword?
Longsword.
He picks it up, and he's holding it and inspecting it, and he goes, this appears to be magical.
Alright.
Why does everyone else get... Or was it like disgruntled like everyone else seems to get magic?
Well, I mean, Kelder doesn't really use longswords, and it doesn't appear anybody else really does either, so he's going to hang on to it for now. But just know that I have no problem letting it go to somebody else.
You can wield a longsword two-handed, or it'd be a d10 slashing damage, and then it would be considered magical.
I mean, I do have proficiency with longswords.
Yeah, but again, you can wield it as well, but you can't use it as a finesse weapon, which is a problem.
Yeah, I'm more of a dexterous character.
Correct. And then Davos could use it, but everyone besides Aura suffers from the same problem. Not enough lifting, not enough of that gym time. You ain't swole. So, I mean, you could also hand it off to Borgu, who could use it as well, but he seems pretty partial to a sweet axe.
Yeah, Orvis isn't going to wear the armor. He's going to bag it up, though, and take it with him.
Yeah. You put it into your bag and kind of set it to the side. Davos kind of looks to everyone after looking at the ground and says, "Yep, this is definitely what we were looking for."
So it's just basic plate, yeah?
Yeah. Phi, you would also notice that there's a chest sitting nearby the alcoves to the south, which you should be able to see on the map marker. And the chest appears to be closed and kind of covered with a bit of grass on the sides of it, but it appears to be sealed.
I try and get in that chest, but I don't know how I would.
Okay. When you inspect it and kind of look it over, it doesn't appear to be locked. It does look like it's just a very simple latch mechanism that would allow you to open up the chest.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that then.
All right. No folly, as most of the others, I'm sure, were like, oh, she's going to die now. It's trapped, probably. No,
you should always stab the chest first. Just
always
with a sword.
give it a good stab. No, the chest does not appear to be trapped in any way. When you open it up, inside there are what appear to be like very just stale and kind of rotting garments. Most of the colors here are yellow, but the dye has faded over time and over rotting. But set inside of the mess that you see here, you do see that there is an amulet that is kind of set about where the neck would be on the clothing. It appears to be made out of gold and bronze with a number of rubies set upon it, and the center stone appears to be a citrine, a very nice orangey yellow kind of clear gemstone.
Go ahead and take that thing.
Okay. You pick it up, and look it over. Kelder, as you see her lift it up and kind of look over in her direction, it glows.
Keller smiles and nods and says, "That's also magic."
Okay.
When we get back to the,
Go ahead.
when we get back, we should see if perhaps William could identify these for us.
Right.
I would identify them, but I lack the components.
Oh, and also, in the Marches game, we typically had a burn requirement for the pearl. That's not true in this game. This is a real deal game, so you can keep using the same pearl.
So if you guys hook me up with a pearl that costs 100 GP, I can identify stuff for us.
Correct. Okay. So that said, there's the alcove to the southeast. There's the alcove to the southwest. There's a staircase that descends deeper into this structure, and there appears to be some sort of continuation of this floor to the northeast or northwest. So just let me know where you guys want to go, and we can take a look at that area.
I'll basically defer to Davos and Vi. I mean, whatever I'll let them lead this expedition.
Oh, it's the same. He'll go at the front of the marching order, but he's not going to pick where he walks. He's just going to follow where he's told.
Davos almost seems to be kind of following in Vi's footsteps. He kind of walks over to the alcoves to the south and starts inspecting them. Just basically kind of... you would, having known Davos for a while, Oris, unless he's given a specific order or he doesn't have a task in mind, he's kind of a bit more... and you guys have noticed Murph's playing style. He's basically waiting for something to kind of trigger him and kind of like, make him kind of focus towards that goal and operate toward it. And that seems to be what's happening here. He's inspected the floor. He's come to the determination that this is the place that we need to be in, and he's kind of mentally taking notes of what's visibly available there. So I guess everybody's throwing the weight towards Stephanie. Which direction would you like to go, Lady Fi?
I don't even remember what.
So there's an alcove to the southeast, there's an alcove to the southwest, and then there's continuation of the structure to the northwest, and there's a stairs that descend down.
Maybe we should take the stairs then.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Or do you want to throw out any interjections?
I think the stairs is a good idea, because then we can come back and do the other stuff later.
Yeah, we can sweep the area on our way back out.
Perfectly fine. Okay.
Just hope there's nothing fun in there that's going to come and follow us.
What's our objective here? Like, what are we looking for?
Davos says we're supposed to recover, and he kind of stops for a second. There's a relic within. He kind of looks to Lady Fi and then kind of shies aside. It's not our proudest moment, but there's a pair of... there's a sword. It's more of a bow that's present within. He kind of shakes his head a bit. In older times, the elves did lend aid to our people, but certain items and relics were taken very much like the conglomerate has taken our items, and it's an elvish longbow known as Suella Thalma, or Wind and Wave.
Do I know of this weapon?
Make a history check. You would know it. What'd you get?
24.
You would know that it was said to have been an oath bow that was fashioned by the aquatic elves long ago, and it was gifted to the Academy of Savarius, which is a magic academy in the capital city of Tolania. This weapon is not just a longbow. The longbow is said to be breakable at the center point, and then it creates 2 swords, which are wieldable. It is a... it was said to have been wielded in times past to conflict against the servants of a demon prince. The demon prince being the demon prince of despair, known as... My brain sometimes doesn't remember things. Demon prince named Anislain.
Kelder's expression kind of like sours. Like he's like, yeah, this is kind of distasteful. But I mean, obviously he has no problem recovering it.
You can see that Davos, ever since the initiation of this, and it's something I was going to do with Murph, and I will make sure that he's aware. Basically, his ideas on the guard are kind of pressured right now. Obviously, there's a little less moral kind of, straight aheadness. Torture is being implemented, and we're going to try and recover an item that was in the past stolen by the Osirians from the elves, and is considered a relic of importance now to Osirians. Whereas he thinks, well, we should just give that back to the elves.
Yeah, he might not have a choice.
No, for sure. Accurate. But he's here to recover it, and he's doing his job. But you can definitely see that there's a conflict here. And the reason why there's a conflict here is because I don't know how Murph would react, and that's how I'm playing it. He can decide when he gets back.
I do think that from what we've seen of Murph, I do think this is how we react so far.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've only played with him a couple of sessions, but I think I have a good handle for what he's trying to do with the character. I think. I'm not trying to be arrogant or pompous or anything, but certainly I leave the decisions ultimately to him in the end. That said, you guys are heading down the stairs, right?
Yep.
Same marching order?
Yep.
Okay. Bear with me here. I know this isn't exactly the marching order. I'm just getting you guys close so I can drag and drop you into the next map. All right.
I love this Dragonborn. I'm going to cry if he ever dies.
So I'm pulling you into the map, and just bear with me here. I'm going to explain a lot of things to you, and then you can basically just understand. So the stairwell down, as you kind of continue to look down, you don't see a bottom, even with your dark vision eyes. It looks like it continues for some time, but finally the stairs do meet a terminus. The well of the stairwell does not meet a terminus. It continues down into the dark. As you walk out into the open here, it spills out into a 5-foot or 10-foot wide hallway, leading into a chamber with a bunch of different styles of tile on the ground. Some of them have been broken up. To the southwest portion of this room that you've entered into, it looks like the floor has been completely broken out. And it looks like there's about a 40-foot descent down into the darkness as well. It looks like there's a bunch of rubble, and you could probably climb your way down if you wanted to into the darkness, but it looks like it just leads into kind of a network of caves beneath.
Boris would have picked up his torch again before we came down here, because I can't see any.
Oh yeah, I apologize. Let me get you set here. Sorry about that. So you should be seeing good. In the center of the chamber, there appears to be a 8-pointed star, set of steps that lead up to a very large bronze bowl in the center of the room. There are a total of 5 pillars in the room that appear to have a 8-sided shape to them. So they're octagonal columns that go from floor to ceiling. There appear to be lines carved through the stone and tiles that seem to connect each of the pillars in the room. It's completely dark. It's completely quiet. The room doesn't have much of an echo to it, despite the size of it. And there appears to be a hallway, 15 foot wide, to the north west of the chamber.
Any magic?
There does appear to be a faint kind of glow inside of the bowl, but you can only just see like the tips of it, like a flame burning up out of this the bowl, as you can't see through the bowl with your magic detect magic spell.
What color is that?
It doesn't appear to have a designated color in actuality. It appears that whatever you're looking at, the color that's kind of rising from it is prismatic in nature.
Ah, so it's basically like it has magic, but the magic's not active.
Right.
He gestures towards the bowl and he says, "There's something going on with that. I'm not sure what it is."
Also go have a nosy.
Kelder's gonna start kind of wandering around cautiously, like being very wary of where he's stepping, but he's kind of trying to get a better angle to look to see more of the room to see if he can see any more magical auras.
Okay. Yeah, not much in the way of that. And then, Oris, you're going to go and look into the bowl, and while that's happening, Phi, is there anything in the room that I've mentioned that's kind of piquing your interest? Hole in the ground, path to the north, columns, floor panels, etc.? Stephanie?
Sorry.
Was there any of the anything in the room that just piqued your interest?
Not in particular.
Okay, so just staying back, keeping an eye out. Okay. All right. So when you go and to examine the bowl, inside you see what appears to be a vial set inside of a vial set inside of two kind of bronze capstones. The substance inside appears to have a greenish tint to it.
Look like it'll kill me?
Doesn't look like you could open it.
Doesn't look like I can open it. That's a challenge. Also, give it a go. Try and open it.
Did let's see here. Do you see it? Did it pop?
Yeah. Yeah, or that's an intriguing thing. That looks like something that'd be nice to drink.
Can we take it?
I want to be the Hulk.
That's always his logic. Always his logic is first. Does it look like it'll kill me? No. Let's give it a go.
It's like Adam West trying to get superpowers.
Yep.
We could always just take it with us if possible and kind of research
Yeah.
it.
Or he'll just shove it in his pocket.
What kind of... Kelder asks if he could see that. He wants to see what kind of writing it has on it.
Or just chucks it across the room. Kelder doesn't.
Alright, Kelder, make a dexterity saving throw.
I roll a 1.
Okay. You watch as it misses his hands, misses the mark of being caught, and slams into the ground. All of you kind of like breathe in as you think the glass of it's going to shatter and the liquid's going to spill out, but it clang, 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 and just bounces around.
I wasn't. Your thing, you saying it doesn't look like you could open it. Maybe go. Okay, so this is a fairly tough thing. Fuck it.
Yeah, Kelder picks it up and inspects it. Like what kind of mechanisms does it have? What kind of writing does it have on it?
Sure. You kind of look over it. The markings on it appear to be kind of not so much writing, but just like pictures. You're not sure exactly what they mean or what their purpose is, and as you're analyzing it, you don't know for sure what at all they mean.
It wasn't giant or goblin, was it?
They don't appear to be writing. They don't appear to be runes. They just appear to be artistic flares that have been added to the exterior.
Does it have any sort of magic aura?
Yeah, this is the thing that appears to be glowing with the prismatic magic aura.
Oh, so this was in the bowl. Okay.
Yeah, as you kind of hold it and move the liquid and kind of look to it, it kind of has an aura that's generating off of the fluid.
All right. Kelder's going to walk towards the bowl while examining this thing, trying to see if he can get any idea on how to open it. And he's going to try to open it and dump it in the bowl.
Can't do it. It doesn't open. And when you kind of move towards the bowl, you can see that there's similar artistic flares along the exterior of the bowl. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's... it doesn't look like it goes anywhere in the bowl other than it was sitting in there when it was pulled out.
Shall we take the bowl?
The bowl looks like it probably weighs a good 600 pounds.
Yeah, just take that.
Kelder's just going to hang on to the vial and, continue poking around, seeing what else is in the room.
The only fun magic thing always finally gets yanked from him.
Says the man who bogarted all the health potions.
Shush.
he holds one to his lips. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, I will do that because I'm still quite low on health.
I'm thirsty.
You hold on to those potions because you might not get healed anymore.
Davos kind of moves into the room and kind of looks around. Looks to Kelder, who's holding the vial, and just asks to take a look at it. He gives it a quick glance over, but then hands it back over. Kind of just doesn't seem to add anything to the conversation.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like there's anything else of interest in this room. Perhaps we should continue deeper?
How deep's this drop next to me?
So it's about 40 feet down. And it's kind of like a bit of a sliding chasm that goes down. As you kind of stand there and look out for it, after the clanging sound, you kind of are gesturing, or you're kind of looking into the darkness, not gesturing, but go ahead and make a wisdom perception check.
Good at that. Jinxed myself with that, didn't I? 9.
Yeah, it's just completely dark down there.
One of you that can actually see in the dark, can I have a look at you?
Alright. I need to do a perception check.
Yeah.
An
11.
So,
All right. Yeah, that's not going to do it either. You're looking into pitch blackness, so you don't think there's anything down there, but you really can't see too far. 60 feet with you, you can see a bit further than Oris can, but even still, it doesn't look like you're seeing anything down there.
So I'm not sure if you guys have this game in America. It's a very childish game, but it's you push.
I was gonna do that.
Time, but you grab them at the same time and go save your life. Or was it really tempting to play that game?
What game?
Whoever stood next to it. It's basically save your life. Like you'll be walking past a road and you'll go jokingly push your friend, but you'll grab him and pull him back at the same time.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
I was actually, I didn't know about that game, but I was like in the back of my mind, I was like, that would be funny if I did something like that.
Just push.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
You're just gonna play shove, or am I reading this right? You're gonna just play shove Oris on the edge there. Okay. Oris, just make a dexterity saving throw for flavor.
I like to imagine at the exact same time as she does it, Oris was already reaching out to do it to her. They've had the same idea.
Yeah. But go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, Oris. You kind of catch yourself, just like, and she's not, terribly like mighty and throwing you off or anything. And as you kind of like realize that you're on a pretty precarious ledge, as you jokingly think you're about to do it, you kind of stop yourself, realizing how quick you had to be to recover yourself even from such a light tap. It seems that the stone on the edge actually crumbles inwards, and a couple of bits of stone kind of, but not terribly far down, just maybe 5 or so feet. But yeah, you're pretty sure that even with a light tap that was pressed against you, the edge here is very precarious.
I think we should step away from the edge.
Yeah.
It's not particularly
So-
safe.
Kelder kind of approaches the edge and he's looking down to the darkness and he wants to get an idea of what's down there. There could be more pieces of this puzzle that fell through the floor. I don't have light. I do have prestidigitation. So what I would like to do
Doesn't
is
work.
sort of use prestidigitation like a flare and just like throw clouds of sparks down there to kind of light it
The
up.
sparks go like 5 or so feet from you. They don't really go terribly far as you're kind of throwing sparks and making it look like, there's a lot of glittery kind of effects too that are kind of bursting from you as you're kind of throwing your hands forward, but it's not doing what you really want. And
Would a firebolt work better?
it would give you kind of a momentary look into it, but it would be very loud, and the detonation at the end would be something to note as well.
Fair enough. He just lights a torch and tosses it down there.
Okay, you light a torch, you toss it down, it kind of hits the stone. Make a just dexterity roll. Yeah, it makes it a good ways down and kind of hits the bottom, and you can see that it looks like a lot of the floor from where you're standing has descended and basically formed a rubble pile. And then there's a bit of a slope to it as well, so if you were to try and climb down, you might be able to, but it could also be precarious in that you could be taking a lot of the rubble with you down as you fall.
Do I see any magic down there?
No.
Okay. Does it look like it's a pretty small area, or that it falls down there and kind of continues on into another area?
Now that you have a torchlight down there, it looks like at the very bottom there are tunnelways, as I mentioned. It looks like it kind of opens into a slightly smaller chamber with the rubble kind of forming there at the bottom, and then it looks like there are 2 different passageways that splinter off of it, just natural looking tunnels.
He glances over at Fi and he says, "You're pretty good with nature. Why don't you come over here?"
Right. What are we looking at?
I just kind of loosely gestured down there where the torchlight is and what we can see, and I say, "What do you think's down there? Anything we should be worried about?"
Do a nature check.
Yeah, go ahead and give me one.
Is a 9.
You've not spent a lot of time underground, nor have you spent a lot of your resources reading about the underground and what dangers or possible, creatures might, reside within. So you're kind of just shaking your head as you're thinking about it and kind of wishing you'd picked up some of those books back home.
Well, Kelder says, "I think we should head down there and take a look. What do you think?"
Okay. Oris kind of moves towards the northern path.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's just having a nosy. Sees the hole.
Sure.
He's
What-
just gonna go poke his head over and see how far down it goes.
Yeah, if you go and look down the well, it looks like it descends as far down as the stairwell did, well past your light sight. There are 2 jutting stone pieces that kind of come off the side there, that kind of have a almost like a Toblerone's been fashioned out of stone and set longwise on the side of the wall. That's basically what it looks like. And those are on either side of the side there.
How big is the hole? Width-wise, would it be
About-
wide enough that Always could jump, put one hand on one side, and just slowly try and ease himself down it?
It's about 8 feet in diameter.
Oh, hell no then. What's full damage again?
It's 1d6 per 10 feet. To a maximum of
I see.
50, I think. 50 feet worth. No, I think it's more than that. But yeah, but there's a maximum. Basically, you hit terminal velocity, you can't take any more damage from falling. You're going to take this amount of damage because that's the most you'll ever take for falling. But yeah, these...
Also shouts that he's found the hole.
Okay.
See people.
You said you're shouting?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys hear him loud and clear. Yeah. And do you guys head back or keep your eye on the hole that you're at? Head over to Oris.
Yeah, definitely gonna follow the barbarian.
Okay. Alright, if you guys head over that direction, yeah, Davos seems inclined to do so as well. You come into a room that's about 25 by 25. It looks like there's a small hallway to the north portion of it. And there's a large hole in the floor. And then there are two strange stone structures on the left and right. Like I said, it appears that there are a series of just tiered triangles kind of jutting out from the wall. Again, if you don't know what a Toblerone looks like, I'm sorry for you, and you should probably have one. They are delicious. But it looks like Toblerones are alongside the wall, basically, but made out of stone.
I'm surprised you guys get Toblerones.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like, you don't get Cadbury's, so I was really surprised
Yeah, we
you
do.
get Toblerones.
Yeah, we
Wait,
do.
you do now?
Well, you used to. I haven't had one in a while, but I mean, I know I've had them.
Oh,
Cadbury
what's
eggs.
this
you mean?
over here?
Like at every grocery store when you go to check out.
Well, I noticed too, and this is the thing that annoys the heck out of me, is they're not the real Cadbury though. They're like chocolate flavored or like vanilla flavored. I'm like, lies.
No, Cadbury's.
Wait, what's it supposed to be?
Oh, it's like just Cadbury cream. I don't know. It's probably just it's English.
It's just really nice chocolate.
Well, no, the stuff
Definitely
inside.
caramel. Oh yeah, caramel is lovely.
Yeah.
Caramel. We get American sections in our shops now. Like, it's mad.
I don't want to get too much into that, but I do want to tell one quick narrative piece there for ha ha ha. I went to Sainsbury's when we were out there, and they had Mountain Dew that looked like it was literally the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing to your Mountain Dew, but it's basically radioactive bright green, and I kind of dig it.
Nuka-Cola Quantum.
When you described the substance, I was just like, Mountain Dew? That's why I wanted to drink it.
Mountain Dew. It's probably refreshing. But okay, back to this. Sorry. There's the hallway. It's 5 feet wide to the north portion, past the hole in the ground. There's the hole in the ground. There's the strange stone structures on the side. There's also, of course, the hole in the ground back that you just left. That you could go down if you wanted to. Something I didn't mention, but I will point out. It does look like there are two other hallways out of that chamber, the main chamber, but they're broken down. It looks like they've actually been caved in or over time have collapsed. So that's noted. And then, of course, there's the stairwell, which also descends down into darkness, into nothing. And then there's a bunch of alcoves that you left behind back upstairs.
Borgu, do you think I could survive the drop?
Yeah, nope. Probably not.
Not even if I went bear mode?
Do you want to go down there, though? He says as he pulls out a rope.
That's less fun, though.
I mean, if you want to have fun, then he kind of looks at you and kind of looks like he's reaching behind you to push you in. And then kind of pulls his hand back and away. Do what you want. Davos says, no, Oris, don't jump in. If you're going down there, take a rope.
What? I reckon I could survive the drop, though. Now, I'll also take the rope. Like, do we head down, or do we carry on, or do I head down and then climb back up? If there's anything down there.
Davos seems to kind of shrugs. Whatever you want to do.
Worst case scenario, if it always goes down on itself and there's, like, scary things down there, it's only always getting shafted. If it's safe, I can shout up. And it's the same as with the top floor. We can check the other areas and we climb back up.
You guys call again. I'm just the world. So just tell me what your plan is. Let me know. And don't think too hard about it. Just think as if you were in your character's perspective. What would I do? If Oris would jump in a hole like an idiot, I mean, go for it. I'm down to watch that and figure out how it applies to you.
I could light another torch and throw it down there.
John just said act like my character. He'll chug the last 2 potions, rage, and jump.
Do you take a torch and chuck it in?
Yeah, take a torch, chuck it down the well.
Okay. The second you light the torch and drop it in, you see it kind of drop about 20 or so feet and then vanish. Complete black. Just seems to overtake the entirety of the fire. The second that happens, the Toblerones on the side kind of jaunt down, like almost as if they were a portion of a gear. And they drop down to about 1 more tick down. Once they do so, you see a vial from one of the one on the left side drop down. It's very similar to the one that you've recovered from the brazier, except that this one is black liquid.
Does that turn me into venom?
Yeah, Kelder picks it up and goes, okay, that was unexpected.
So it's only 20 foot then?
20 foot before it becomes obsolete and turns into solid blackness, yeah.
Did we hear a splash or anything?
Not a sound.
Just disappeared.
Basically, you just watched as torchlight vanished. Like, the best way to describe it is there's a layer at the 20-foot drop point, and like you saw the weight of the torch drop in first and slowly become like consumed by it. Like, it was almost if you were dropping it through a wall or dropping it through a solid platform. Basically, it just vanished incrementally as it fell through that point.
Or it's all pull out of his pack, arm his bear trap, and then chuck the bear trap in.
It vanishes.
Baby.
Yep, and then nothing happens.
Kelder, like, kind of slaps Oris on the shoulder and he says, I wouldn't recommend going in there. And then he turns and he walks.
There's a bear trap somewhere in there.
And then Kelder turns and walks back into the main room over here by Davos and the Dragonborn.
Real quick note for positioning, Chad. Your face is out of frame. It's like cutting off the top of your head on my end. So if you want to just like raise the camera up or drop down, so we can see that that brow of yours. All right, cool. Sorry. And if you could smile more too, Chad, that'd be great. Anyway, you dropped a bear trap. It didn't do anything.
I just love the idea. We're going to be walking along later. We'll find a torch just lying on the ground.
Yeah.
And one of us is going to step in that armed bear trap.
That makes sense.
It'll probably be you.
Hopefully.
Do you wish
It'd
to
be instant karma.
Do you wish to continue to the north? Head back to the main chamber? Or what's the plan, guys? Let me know what you're doing.
So where else is there to go in this room other than down into the broken floor?
There's north, I think. Just a little north bit. But again, we could do sort of what we plan to do with top floor, which is check it on our way.
So wait, are you talking about this? Like this is a passageway that leads out?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a northern passageway that leads to another hallway. And so...
Okay, yeah, let's go that way.
Okay.
Cool. We'll also start heading that way.
Kelder's gonna back him up.
Kelder and Oris, mighty duo.
It's kind of a anticlimactic lead towards the end here, but as you guys approach, you see that up ahead there appears to be a portcullis that is slammed in place. The narrow passageway, which you guys are at the top there, you see it there. And you can see up ahead that it opens up into a 10-foot wide hallway, and there's a portcullis in place that has been closed off to you.
Oris sees nothing again.
Oh, because you keep on not having torchlight, right? Hold on.
Does it look like the kind of thing we could force open?
Yeah, so like a normal portcullis, it does appear to have come down from the ceiling. But there's nothing special or magical about it. If you do have enough strength, you might be able to force it.
Yeah, Kelder
also
steps
bend
back
down
and
with-
waves the Dragonborn forward and says,
Okay.
"Why don't you two do your thing?"
All right. So
Yeah,
if you
also
want
bend down and begin to lift.
to make a strength athletics check, you will have advantage for the check.
23.
Really good. You start heaving and hoeing, and the two of you start kind of trying to lift it. And it's a good minute or so of just effort before you can even get it up to maybe a foot or so. And after a fashion, the two of you just kind of like, you can see their muscles like shaking against the strain of it, and the two of you drop it. You're able to basically lift it up to about a foot or two for about a minute before you can't do any more. But you can't seem to get it over that gap. Can't get it any higher than that.
What's it made out of? Metal-wise?
You're inspecting it, and it appears to be just a rusted form of some sort of iron or steel. You're not sure. Yeah, if you want to make an investigation check on it to try and inspect that a bit more, you certainly can. The only thing that you're factoring with that 12 of an investigation is that it doesn't appear that whatever the outer casing is solid all the way through. You think there might be something inside of the steel outer casing of the bars.
Also, take a swing at it, then try and break the casing to have a look at what's on the inside.
Go ahead and make a great axe attack. You
24 to hit.
You clip into the steel and chint it just a little bit, kind of causing a little bit of view at the inside. And based on what you're looking at, it looks like it's a very heavy, dense metal that's kind of malleable. It appears that inside of the steel casing, which you were just barely able to pierce with that, there's lead. Which
That
might,
explains why it's so heavy, but we also might be able to bend the bars.
good idea.
Or mean.
Just looking across the portcullis, by the way, you can see that the 10-foot hall continues on to the north, and at increments of every 5 feet, there appear to be alcoves. And set inside of those alcoves, you think you can kind of make out that there's some sort of statue shape within.
So we've already had to fight one statue today. Do we think there'd be potentially more of them?
There's always more statues to fight.
Did my my detect magic wear off?
I would say so. Yeah, and again, if you want to spend time ritual casting it
Okay.
again.
Well, if they want to try and bend the bars while they're doing that, I can go ahead and recast detect magic as a ritual.
Is that the dream? You guys are going to try and bend the bars?
I want to go for it.
Go ahead and make an athletics check with advantage.
60.
Not having very much luck. And as you're kind of straining against it, you kind of think to yourself, oh, maybe it's steel bar, lead, steel casing.
Bye. Do you have Sacred Flame?
I do not believe that I do.
Gelda, do you have fire?
I have firebolt.
Do you have
I also have burning hands.
Do you want a burning hands this? That's some hot flames and lead's not got a massive.
Your
amount
arcane
of
knowledge
oil.
would tell you that you're probably not going to melt metal to a point where it's going to be malleable with burning hands. You'll melt
Yeah,
flesh.
I think honestly, I think create bonfire would probably be the best bet.
And even still, that probably wouldn't suffice. Again, we're talking about temperatures of 2,000 degrees to melt metal, like to a point where you can manipulate it. I mean, you'd have to be able to set up a forge on this thing.
Maybe lift it up. I don't know if this is a smart idea, but maybe lift it up, have people crawl under.
It's a possibility. You'd have to decide who your forward scout would be.
Could,
Probably me. Ideally, I'd like to not go alone.
And I could go with you.
I'm
I like
just
those
thinking,
odds.
Could the Yeah, because we need to be able to do it first. Yeah.
Well, now that my
this is
detect
fine.
magic is back up, do I see any magic coming off those statues?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Well, Fi, if you are okay with this idea, then we can see if they can lift it up high enough for us to shimmy our way through.
That's good.
All right. So we'll just say, for sake of purpose, the two of you shimmy through after the two of them lift up the point there. Davos will remain on this side with them, and the separation of the party at this point would be a good stopping point for the session. We'll pick up in a week, and we'll have Murph back with us and possibly a fifth player. We shall see how that goes. Thanks for watching, those that did, and we're going to go ahead and sign off for now. Bye.